welcome back, everyone. If you were basically sitting on top of the building, here's what you would see. And it's not pretty, but what we're looking at is an accumulation of snow on the actual lens of the camera out there. And yeah, it's sticking. It is heavy and wet cement kind of snow. And this heavy, wet snow is going to continue for another 2 to 3 hours out there. So we are expected to continue with these totals that are already kind of impressive. Gusty winds. Winds are going to continue to ramp up and will peak in a couple of hours. And we also have some power outages that have already been reported. We've got nearly 1,000 customers without power in Connecticut, and we've got over 500 in the state of Rhode Island. We also have some coastal and marine concerns in here as well, because after all, this is a coastal storm. So how much have we gotten so far? We are closing in on 6 inches in West Greenwich. Cranston's at 5.5 as well. West Warwick more than 5 inches. Barrington's at 3. Providence officially at 3. And I suspect since these reports have come in, these totals are actually probably a little bit higher because I know there's more than 2 inches in Pawtucket right now. So our winter weather watches, advisories, warnings, we are in the warning part in our corner of southern New England. And this warning will remain in effect through 7 o'clock tonight. That means we have the potential of seeing big impacts because of our weather. Number one being difficult travel. That's usually when we see those warnings get hoisted. So difficult travel not only because of the slippery surfaces, but because of the reduced visibility, because we do have this high snow rate going on out there. Winds are expected to pick up where we have the potential of seeing gusts up to 50 miles per hour locally. And again, we're not done with power outages. As long as we've got those winds and this heavy snow, power outage numbers will likely increase. So what you're looking at here is a whole lot of purple, I know, but it's the darker purples where we're finding our higher snowfall rates. And you'll also notice one more thing. We're starting to see it shut down across portions of northwestern Connecticut, indicating that we are a few hours away from putting this whole thing to bed. So we won't have to endure this through the late commute hours, and it'll give, in fact, our road crews some time to do a little catch up from the heavy nature of this snow. So what we look at here is it generally takes 4 hours of time for the radar to go from New York to Providence. So we are, I'd say, within the 4-hour window of seeing the whole thing end. So when all is said and done, we're likely going to see a large portion of our viewing area, which includes Rhode Island, southeastern Mass, come in with totals between 5 and 9 inches. Some communities are already within that window. And again, we're going to keep going for another couple of hours. By the time we get to 3, a good portion of the region should be clear, at least in terms of Connecticut and western portions of Rhode Island. As we continue through the evening, that process just keeps on going. Now, as we go overnight tonight, we are going to turn a very strong northwesterly wind behind that system. And that northwesterly wind is going to pull in polar air right from Canada, dropping temperatures Wednesday morning into the 20s. And at the same time, we're going to keep winds up, which means wind chills that are going to be so bitter and cold, not only in the morning for tomorrow, but right through the whole day. So tomorrow's highs will likely be where they are right now, but our wind chill temperatures are going to drop, and it's going to feel like the teens in the morning. So this is what you'll need to dress and dress the little ones for before setting them out to meet the bus tomorrow. And again, through the whole day, we don't see a whole lot of improvement. It doesn't really feel much warmer at any time. But it does make for a good cuddling weather. You have to admit, it will be sunny, blustery, and cold, with temperatures again working their way from the 20s into the low 30s for your highs. And when all is said and done, we are looking at cold weather to settle in. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Cara and I were talking about this earlier, and because we're going to do such a slow trend, it means we're going to do slow melting rather than rapid melting. So we're not going to be looking at the potential of flooding, all of this melting at the same time. So we're actually being spared any of that, what we would see, should that even happen. We're going to set it to break, and we're going to have more of your storm coverage coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.